There you go.
A lot of people have asked for my ninja move, for more of my ninja move. It's been pretty popular around the world.
All right, you're good.
Is it working?
Yep.
All right. Okay, we're back. Keeton's with an S in the kitchen. I have the official shirt on, so you know it's official. I also have a KITK platter with the official Keeton's in the kitchen crest. Made this color, sketched this freehand.
Freehand, really?
Yeah. Yeah, back in the day. So we are going off the charts tonight. We're doing a Memorial Day Bonanza. So we're going to do some burgers. We're going to talk about those here in just a second because we're going to get those going. We've got loaded potato salad and we've got our broccoli salad. These things are super easy to make, and there's a whole lot of things that can be made ahead of time.
Yes.
So if you're having a party, which is Memorial Day, you ought to be having a party. I'm not going to go into the 10 people thing. Don't even get me started on that. You should be having a party. It's going to be decent weather, I think, this weekend. Have you a party. Have some people over. Have some food.
We've earned it.
That's exactly right. We've earned it. Set 10 feet apart if you have to, but have a party. The potatoes could be made ahead of time. The dressings could be made ahead of time. The broccoli could be cut ahead of time. Your bacon could be cooked ahead of time. Your burgers could be patted out ahead of time. There's a lot of things that you could do ahead of time here that are going to save you a lot of time when it comes down to it. When everybody shows up, you slap the burgers on the grill, you put the salads together, bam. You've got a fantastic meal. This is going to be off the charts. I'm swinging this. I'm so excited for today. I get this spatula for the grill. I'm just swinging this sucker like a sword. So the first thing we want to get going is we need to get our bacon going, and then we need to get our burgers going.
Okay, lots of bacon.
Lots of bacon's always good.
Cut 1 pound of bacon in half because half of it's going in potato salad, half of it's going in broccoli salad. So we'll get that started.
What I have here is some ground beef. This can be a little hard to find, so if you have, if all you can find at this point is ground pork or ground chicken, use that. Any ground meat works. It sort of goes against my soul to use ground turkey. But if you could find and you can find some ground turkey, you're better off doing that than you are not doing this at all. Now, one of the things I've talked about in past classes, back in the day especially when I used to do a lot of classes, is there's sort of more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to getting flavor in your food. Burgers are a perfect example of this, where you could just put your burgers together and then you could wait till the very end and you could top them. And you could put everything right over the top of it. You could put your cheese, you could put your onions, you could put your peppers, you could put all these different things over the top. The problem being that when you do that, your burger ends up about this high and you can't eat it. So why not incorporate some of the flavors into your burger and not have to stack these all on top of one another? So what I have here is some sweet pepper. I've got some red and some yellow. That's not a great knife for what I'm doing here. We're going to talk in a minute or two about sharpening knives. I've got our sharpener out here because I get a lot of questions about that. So I'll talk about that in just a second. What you want to do with this pepper and this onion when you're doing this recipe, cut these up, spend a little more time. Sarah and I both talk a lot of times about don't kill yourself spending time on any one stage on anything. This is one of those where you don't want the peppers and the onions or the cheese or any of this to overshadow your burgers. So spend a little more time cutting this up nice and fine. And when you get it all cut up here, just lay this over top of your burgers. I said one. If you don't like them, don't use them. Don't put them in there. I'm probably not going to end up with quite a pepper in here, but it'll be fine. You can use any kind of shredded cheese you want in this. I've put in the past black olive. You can make a really good taco burger by putting black olive and onions and taco seasoning in them. Basically what you're trying to do is get the flavoring on the inside of these burgers so that you don't have to stack everything on top of it and make your burger so fat that you can't eat it. So we got an onion. We're going to do the same thing with this onion. And we want to try and spend a little more time than we might necessarily trying to get this nice and thin. And when it falls down between your Keeton and the kitchen cutting board and your bowl, you have to fish that out of there. This can be as simple as just chopping all this up, and it is literally going everywhere. I have this all over the floor.
No worries, I only swept them off today.
Yeah, she only cleaned it out today. It's going to be perfect.
It's the best day to do that.
I might live through this. Here, look at it. Basically, one of the little techniques too, I'm always talking about knife techniques and stuff. One thing you can do is just hold your knife with both hands. If you've got a nice flat cutting surface, go through there and give that a little chop. That's all it really takes. Hopefully our floor likes onions.
Yeah.
Because it's getting more than it's serving tonight. It's probably at 2 servings. So I've got the onion and I've got the pepper. I'm going to put a little bit more of this onion in. Now the whole key with this, if you're doing charcoals, you need to get those going. If you're using a gas grill, you can go get it going right now because they don't need much warm-up time. Get all this onion and this pepper put in here. It is literally going everywhere.
Do you need a bigger knife, baby?
What?
Like this?
Well, I'm done chopping now. I have literally scattered this stuff all over creation. Who knows?
No,
Sometimes you're the cutting board and sometimes you're the stuff getting cut.
there you
So
go.
I've got my onions everywhere. I have some in the bowl. I have the rest of them everywhere. I'm going to try and pick up just a couple so I don't mash them into the floor. Then we've got barbecue sauce and cheese. You can use any kind of barbecue sauce you want. I have an adobo sauce here. I think it calls out for about a half cup.
We don't measure anything.
Give it a good dousing. We never measure anything.
That's the hardest part of putting together the post, is trying to actually figure out what the measurement is.
Yeah, exactly how people are going to be able to make this at home. Here I've got about a cup of cheddar. So there's that. Here's that. Now you want to kind of get in here and get this all mixed up. Again, hopefully you've got your grill going. So you just mix all this in. Now the 2 biggest mistakes and the 2 questions that I used to get the most when it comes to burgers. The 2 biggest mistakes, two things that happen the most. People make their burgers too dense. So they pat them out, they pat them out, they pat them out. And then when they're done, they're so dense and dry that you can't hardly eat them. So at this point, we're just mixing. It's not a big deal, but once you get to the point of where you're going to pat out these burgers, grab you a good sized handful. If you've got a small hand, grab you 2. Go around with your thumb, tucking this in. So as you're flattening, you're tucking in this side. Now, typically, I always want my burgers far wider than they are thicker. Because making a thick burger on the grill means that it ends up this thick, but this big around, because of course, the fat shrinks in them. So always pat your burgers out nice and wide, and that way when they shrink up, they still cover your burger. Good night. I'm making a mess tonight. Make these wide, pat these out, and kind of tuck this side in with your thumb. But don't sit here just pounding and pounding and pounding these things together, because they're going to be so dense and you're really not going to be able to eat them. And I like for these to end up somewhere around a ½ inch thick. This is an 80-20 mix of ground beef, which is about right. Anything any leaner than that, and they don't hold together on the grill. So anyway, I was talking about the 2 things. They end up too dense, and they end up overcooked. Burgers are one of those things that typically tell you when they're done by just pressing on them. If you'll go out there and just give that a little press on the center, when that give in the center of it, when it just slightly gives, it's done. if it doesn't have any give at all, they're overcooked. And if it's got a whole lot of give to it, and you see blood running out of it, they're probably not done yet. So, I'm going to get these patted out here. This is actually more than what I anticipated. I'm going to keep patting these out flat, use that thumb to bring in the size of these. There's bacon's going along really good. Probably got 2 or 3 more here.
So you've got the cheese like actually mixed in there.
I've got the cheese in it. I've got all the vegetables that I wanted on it. Of course, you can't find really good tomatoes this time of year, so you don't mess with those. That's not something that you would typically put in there anyway, but you can put any sauce you want in this. You can put your vegetables on here, put your cheese in here. You can even pat them out and then put like a mini Babel, one of the little round cheeses on the inside. Get all those goodies. Can you give me the seasoned salt? And the only other thing I'm going to add to these, I like a little bit of mayo on my bun whenever I'm serving it, but a little seasoned salt's all I'm going to put on these burgers. They're already stuffed with the barbecue sauce, with the cheese, with the onions and the peppers. They have all the flavor that they need. Now I'm never going to get all this fat off of me.
80-20.
So I can go out. That's exactly right. You got to have fat.
Gotta have fat.
Now it's just setting up into a coagulated mess all over me. So as soon as I manage to cut through some of this fat, I'm going to go slap these on the grill. And Sarah's going to start on her salads.
Okay. I can do that.
Shoot, that is just literally not coming. It's a good time if you have some disposable gloves. Don't wear them at the grocery store and all the other stores and contaminate everything at the store. Save them for patting out your burger. That way you don't have all this stuff all over you the whole time. So I'm going to go slap these on the grill. Sarah's going to take over here on the salad.
Okay, so we've got 2 different salads going tonight. We've got loaded baked potato salad. On the post, I said to go ahead and do about a pound of potatoes, peel them, dice them, boil them, have them ready to go. So that's what I've got here. Now I would like to say this is kind of more of a family size serving. If you were going to take this to like a picnic or somewhere where you're bringing a side dish, you probably want to double this recipe. What's interesting about these salads, they're both cold salads. One's with broccoli, one's with potato, but the dressing base is all kind of the same. So this one, for the potatoes, we're going to do potato salad first. We're going to do sour cream, and we're going to do mayonnaise. Let me turn my bacon real quick here. So what you're going to do is you're going to roughly end up with a cup of dressing. And on this particular salad, it's more sour cream than mayo. So I think I said about 2/3 of a cup of sour cream. That looks about right. Grab a spoon.
I'm going to wash off my plate so I can use the same plate to get the burgers when they're finished.
And about 1/3 of a cup of mayo. Alright. Then we're going to do, can you turn that bacon, please?
Sure can.
About a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Or a splash. That looks about right. A little bit of onion powder. About that much. A little bit of pepper. Not much. And then a little bit of salt. About a teaspoon. Alright. So into the dressing of this potato salad. I'm just going to stir that up real good. Okay. And then I'll taste it. That's good. We're good.
And we just want this bacon to be crisp, basically. That way it makes it easier to break up and put into the recipes than if you cook it where it's still kind of tender and it wants to fall apart.
Alright. So then to finish off the loaded baked potato salad, we're going to take about a handful, maybe 2 handfuls of cheese. You got that bacon about ready?
Mm-hmm. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you that first layer.
Okay.
And then you can have it, and then when this cools for a minute, I'll chop up the other for...
We've got some chives here. They're from the garden. So I'll bend those in half, cut the loop, and just cut them up. And I think I said, what, about 1/8 of a cup or something like that? 1/4 of a cup?
Chives?
I don't remember.
Probably a quarter. Doesn't take a whole lot to make a 1/4 of a cup of anything.
True. True, true.
Now, while Sarah's doing that, I'll show you real quick. I get a lot of questions about knives, and you'll notice too, our knives stay pretty much razor sharp all the time. You don't need to put a lot of money into a knife sharpener. This is a chef's choice. The model, I think, is a 460. They might not even make this anymore. This is an old knife sharpener. But it still does a fantastic job. It's got a side for serrated, which we don't really have any serrated knives we put through it, but it's got a side for smooth. All you do on this is set this thing down, give them about 2 or 3 good passes through it, and they're back to being razor sharp. Wipe that blade down a little bit because it releases some of the steel from it, and they're back to being just absolutely razor sharp. And I do that typically with our knife about once every 2 to 3 weeks, according to how much we're using that knife. So just one of these, I think this would probably be $15 or $20.
Right.
Super easy, works on the big blades, the small blades, the paring knives and everything.
And there's nothing more frustrating than trying to cook with a dull knife. I mean,
Amen, sister.
Everybody's had that experience where they went to cut a tomato and all they did was smush it. Frustrating. I think a lot of people, if they were to have sharper knives, their enjoyment factor of cooking would go up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tenfold.
Yes, tenfold. And Shawn's very serious about sharp knives. Even like the first time you ever came out to, back in the day when I was still living out in Missouri, first time you ever came out to my house, you brought a knife sharpener with you.
Yeah.
And you sharpened all my knives.
Yeah, and I went ahead and ran all your knives through just in case. I didn't want
I was like, this man's for me.
Didn't want to leave without you having sharp knife. That's for sure.
Alright, so we've got bacon in there, chives, cheddar cheese, potatoes. We're just going to take our dressing, take it down over the top. Like I said earlier, if you're making this for a share dish, like a side dish at a potluck, you probably want to double this recipe. And then, you know, the thing about potato salad is don't overcook the potatoes. You don't want to turn it into mashed potatoes. It's not loaded mashed potatoes. It's loaded potato salad. So you want to really watch those potatoes as you're boiling them. As soon as you can stick a fork in them, they're done. Remember, they're going to continue to cook after you pull them. And anyway, I usually will add all of this while it's still, I wouldn't say room temperature, slightly warm. I think it helps bring all the flavors together and help marry them.
I'm going to need to go over here for just a second. Get a fork. Give this a little shot here just to make sure. I don't want anybody to be led astray, honey.
Okay.
There's still a little bit of dressing in there we might be able to get out.
You
like running.
Yeah, you like your salad dress. You like your potato salad dressed a little bit more. I like mine a little bit drier, but because I like to make him happy.
Ooh. That was good right there. Wow. It was that simple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk with my mouth full, probably. I mean, that is all sharp.
Yep, good. Good
That's
stuff.
simple to make an incredible potato salad.
Okay. So now we are we are moving on to broccoli salad.
So for the broccoli salad, this is a conglomeration, if you will, of, is that the right word, conglomeration?
Go with it.
Okay, conglomeration of some things that Sarah and I both love, and different kind of ways that we've done this. And we've sort of come to the center of what we both love about it and combine those recipes. When you're doing this, the real key is on this broccoli. You want this broccoli cut up into small pieces. Nobody wants to be out there eating a big giant chunk of broccoli. You get those in salads sometimes. Oh man, where they just put the big chunk of broccoli. You're like, what am I going to do with this?
Right.
How in the world am I going to eat this? So just when you're cutting this broccoli up, cut these stems real close to the actual florets on this. And make sure this is in small bite-sized pieces. And if you have to, cut those pieces in half. If you get a piece like this, that's probably 2 inches, just lay it on its lid, cut it in half. And these other pieces that have a whole lot, just break them up a little bit with your hands, cut them. This is another one that the kids can help you do. They can be breaking this apart. You just kind of roughly chop it and then let the kids tear it apart. Great recipe to throw those whippersnappers in there with. I'm going to go work on flipping my burgers while you cut the rest of this.
Sure. If you were getting ready to take this to a potluck on the weekend where you're just bringing a side dish, you probably want to double this recipe. I don't typically like to waste parts of the broccoli. Usually I'll use more of the stem and things. But like Shawn said on this one, you want it to be bite-sized pieces. So go ahead and spend a little extra time cutting these into smaller portions. And you know, like Shawn was saying, I had kind of my way of doing broccoli salad. He kind of had his way of doing broccoli salad. We've kind of met in the middle on this one. A lot of recipes will call for cheddar cheese. It'll call for sunflower seeds. It'll call for raisins. I don't mind those things in my broccoli salad.
But we like to keep it simple.
But Shawn would prefer if his didn't have that in it. So
I'm not the biggest sweet in my salad type
no,
guy.
he's not a big fan of the
it's fine. But
raisin in the salad. All right, so broccoli's going into the bowl.
wait a second. I want to sample this bacon and make sure it was okay.
Yeah, we need that chopped up, baby. Is that bacon good?
I'm going to need to take this bite to make sure.
All right, a little bit of red onion. Red onion can be strong, it can be somewhat offensive. I don't like big chunks of red onion in anything really. So I really try to cut this red onion as thin as possible. Kind of in a half moon shape. Sometimes I'll even dice it. I think it looks prettier if you kind of keep it in a half moon shape, crescent shape, just as long as it's really thin pieces, like as thin as you can get it.
So on those burgers, all I did was, for anybody that tuned in late, I took the ground beef, I mixed in peppers, sweet peppers that we finely chopped, onions that we finely chopped, and barbecue sauce, any kind of barbecue sauce. You can mix A1. I've put mustard in them before, Dijon and yellow mustard, Worcestershire sauce. How'd you like how I pulled that off? Worcestershire. I put.
Oh, those onions. Woo! Okay.
Anyway, all I did was put those on the grill.
Ooh-wee.
And put a little seasoned salt on them. They have about a cup of cheddar cheese. They have about a half a cup of barbecue sauce. They have a sweet pepper and a small onion. Not all that in there, but anyway, and that's in 2 pounds of ground beef. So the other thing too that we need to talk about for a minute.
Sorry.
is upsizing this.
Right, no, I did.
Okay,
While
good.
you were out there. Talked about how if you were going to make this shareable, you need to probably double, maybe even triple.
Maybe even triple.
The recipe, yeah.
And the thing is, again, you can do a lot of this work ahead of time. You could make all these salads ahead of time and basically have them put together, and then just
Slap
pull
your
them out.
burgers
Huh?
on. Slap your burgers on.
Yeah, slap your burgers on right when people get there. Throw these salads together. Throw your dressing on. Now, did you talk about the dressing on early? You can put the dressings on these early. They tend to dry out a little bit. Well, let me take that back. The potato salad dries out a little bit. The broccoli salad goes the exact opposite way.
But,
And it gets a little bit wetter.
yes, I don't necessarily mind that. I honestly think that these salads, if you let them sit for 6 hours, even maybe overnight, I think that they're both better the next day. That's my opinion.
So you can go ahead and make all that up and just have your burgers ready. Go ahead and pat out your burgers, have all of that ready, and then simply put them on the grill when people come.
So what we've got in here is we've got our cut up broccoli, we've got our bacon, we've got our red onion. Just kind of give that a toss. And then we're going to go in and make the dressing. So we're going to come back over here. It's mayonnaise again. And I know I said a cup of mayonnaise. I'll probably not quite go with a cup on this. A little bit more apple cider vinegar. You want the tanginess. So,
By the way, this is Duke's. If you could get Duke's mayo, if you've never had it, it's my all-time favorite mayo brand.
oh yeah.
Hellman's is okay, Kraft, whatever. They're all fun. Duke's is the best.
We're going to go with a scoop of sugar. Which, what do you think that is?
2 tablespoons.
About 2 tablespoons. Which I think my measurements are slightly off, but we'll put it on the post, so I apologize. And then, not that much pepper.
Teaspoon. Half teaspoon.
About a teaspoon of salt. Just like that. And Parmesan cheese. That's, ooh.
Forgot to take the lid off that bad boy.
That's a new
It's
one.
got that childproof lid on it, see? Where you can't get it off, no matter what.
About 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan.
Yeah, don't skimp on your Parmesan on this, because the Parmesan really adds a lot of flavor to this, so don't skimp on your Parmesan.
So you're going to take this, give it a good stir.
Some people probably call it Parmesan.
Possible then. It's possible.
I do, because I say Alfredo. I say Parmesan. Alfredo, by the way, Alfredo. Parmesan. There's something else. And there's probably something else that I say that's not necessarily right.
That's perfect. I'm just going to pour down over the top of the broccoli and the bacon and the red onion. Give that a good stir.
Again, go ahead and make this ahead of time. If you're having your parties on Sunday, do all this on Saturday. Do it on Friday night if you're in quarantine stimulus and you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere. Do this on Friday so you're not spending a whole lot of time doing this when your family's here and your friends are here and you're trying to do your cookout. Spend time with them, do your prep work ahead of time, and all this will come together. Right now we're at 28 minutes. Oddly enough, we have 2 clocks that agree in this house right now.
Yes, I know.
That never happens, but 28 minutes on making all of this. So it's not like this is going to take you a long time. So, okay.
There you go. That's so good.
That's my favorite salad. That was by far my favorite salad.
Okay.
But you want to spend your time with your family. So
That's exactly right.
I need a plate.
Are we going to take this camera out?
We'll take them out and we'll show we'll take them out and show the grill. The burgers, the wind's blowing about 500 miles an hour outside, and it's 56 degrees or something. So the burgers are taking a little while, but let's go look at them. And I'll show them what I'm talking about these burgers being done. Hopefully I can talk loud enough to hear over this wind. There's our grill lid. So, if you look at these burgers, can you see them good?
Yep.
I don't ever clean my grill grate, so these have lots of little added flavor flecks on here. if you notice this burger, and I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. Can you get that? See how soft that is? Anytime you see that being really super soft in the middle like that, you know those burgers aren't done. But as we get over here, this grill doesn't have many hot spots. Now look at this one right here. Let's see if we can get this one in there. This one doesn't have near, so if I'm pressing on this burger, it's not nearly as soft as say that. You can see that meat, matter of fact, I can press that with my finger. You can see it poking out on the sides when I do that. When this one right here, when I push it, you don't see the sides of this burger expanding. So I'm guessing this one's getting really close to being done. Now watch, that's pretty hot. It's not the best idea I've ever had, but now watch this one.
Yeah, I see
Look at
it.
the whole thing moving. My hands are clean, by the way. This one right here is probably the next closest, and I'll flip it and I'll show them this. See that? That one's getting really close to being done. This one is done. So I can pull this right now. I'll slap on a little bit of mayo. I like a little mayo on my bun. I like a little bit of... Look at me just leaning against this hot grill, because that's what a man does. That also helps that the wind's gusting 500 mile an hour and it's not super hot right now.
Well, that baby, that's not very hot, hun. That's, look at me.
That's real nice. Real nice. Way to shoot me down. Let's go back in here. We'll finish this up.
Oh,
Our burgers
goodness.
need another, and that wind, they probably need another 4 or 5 minutes. Let me shut the door. So, we have thrown together this Memorial Day Bonanza. We've got us some hamburger buns. When I was a kid, we had light bread, which is just regular white bread. We call it light bread. It was hamburger buns, hot dog buns, sandwiches. It was everything, but we actually have hamburger buns. The budget of this show has literally grown by like this much. So we do actually have a hamburger.
I think we got them on like Memorial Day specials, so they were probably like 59.
Probably 59 cents, so the budget hasn't grown that much. So we have our bun. We'll slap that on there. We've got everything that we need on our burger, in our burger already. So it doesn't need a whole bunch of toppings. Again, you can't really find good tomatoes right now anyway. So here's a little nugget. Sarah's getting ready. She's got all her spoons going on. Bring that over here so everybody can see it. Here's a little nugget for next week's show. We might be getting ready to break the internet next week. Ooh,
Yum.
that's pretty.
We probably can't see. Let's see.
We're probably getting ready to break the internet next week. Here's a little nugget. Here's a little tip. Today, tomorrow, this weekend, sometime, find you a bag of sushi rice.
This is crazy.
We're going to break the internet down. A lot of you all may know, some of you may not know, I was an exchange student in Japan when I was 15 years old. Get you a bag of sushi rice. Next week, we're breaking the internet. We're going to pull these burgers here, just a few. We will take a picture of it. We'll post it on the thing. Again, next week, going to be off the chart. All we're lacking is our little burger. We did this all in 33 minutes with a whole lot of BS in between. So you could easily turn this on Memorial Day in 25 minutes and do your work ahead of time. We hope you enjoy this. It's going to be great. Happy Memorial Day to everyone. I love you. I love everyone.
I love you too, man.
All right. That was good. That salad is unbelievable.